And welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry. That's Dave. We don't have the Earl twins today. They're currently doing a trade deadline show. So you can definitely watch that after the show if you would like. But we are going to break down some baseball. So officially, I have 0 picks bet right now. I have been kind of waiting to kind of see how the trade deadline goes. I'll probably kind of pull my trigger around 6 o'clock. Normally, my bets are some the night before, some the early morning, but today I decided let's just slow our roll here and we'll kind of see what happens. But there are a few bets here that I will be making no matter what because I don't expect any trades to affect them. So we'll definitely get into those. But we will start with, I have the game order not quite correct here, but there we go. I'll start with Diamondbacks and the Guardians in this one. Let me get the pitchers here. Pitchers could change. We do have Syndergaard slated to start for the Angels tonight. Should he get traded in the next 2 hours, obviously that will change. So pitchers are subject to change. With Diamondbacks and Guardians, we do have Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks, Tristan McKenzie for the Guardians. Zach Gallen would be a good trade target for a team like the Blue Jays, for instance. A young pitcher, but I don't know how much Arizona is focused on trading him. So I think we should be good with McKenzie and Gallen in this matchup. You can find Arizona plus 110 to plus 122. Cleveland minus 135 to minus 150. 7.5s right across the board in this one. For me, I am going to go to the first 5. And I'm looking at the first 5 under 4 in this one, which the best odds you can find for it right now is minus 106 at Sports Interaction. Everywhere else, about minus 115 in this one. Basically, the reason why both pitchers are pitching well right now. Obviously, Zach Gallen for the Diamondbacks. McKenzie coming off a rough game in his previous game here against Boston, but previous to that, he was lights out. So I think back at home, that will help him as well. So I like the first 5 under 4 here, but I've not officially bet it yet. Dave, Diamondbacks, Guardians, what do you think in this one?
Yeah, I don't have a bet in this game, but I'm leaning towards maybe betting it. And I agree, Zach Gallen would be a good addition, a lot better addition than Noah Syndergaard and a lot of these other pitchers out there. I guess you consider these two pitchers aces on their stuff. I don't know. They've been pitching really well. I'll tell you that. And this matchup is strange. I was going over it with another capper the game yesterday, and we were arguing where it was a spot, and I had Cleveland and they had Arizona, and then it went to extra innings and Cleveland eked it out. So that kind of shows you, it's kind of a battle of the who gives a shits, but they're kind of on the same level. I think being at home, I'd lean towards the Guardians, but I'm with you. The bet I'm looking at is the under. The full game's at 7.5, and you think to yourself, well, why is it that low? Well, sneakily, since the All-Star break, both of these bullpens are top 5 bullpens in baseball, which is amazing. I know, look at these teams, and you're like, huh? But you have the 2 aces on the mound. You have, the teams are pitching well. Granted, they scored 11 runs combined yesterday, so that's what I really need to dive into, but I'm definitely leaning on the under, full game under on this one.
All right, I like it. We will shout out to Dave for being the only one right on those birthday picks. Yeah. Yesterday was rough, Cubano. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yesterday was a slap in the face. But hey, it happens. But Dave, hey, you were 4-0. It's a great job. So at least something was good yesterday.
Dodged the mines, went through the minefield.
We'll jump in here to the next game. Toronto Blue Jays are headed to Tampa Bay to face the Rays. The first of a 9-game road trip for Toronto. So they'll be on the road for a while here. Currently, the only trades they have made currently is grabbing 2 relief pitchers, relief pitchers for a prospect that Jordan Groshans, who was looking really good at one point, but apparently only has 1 home run this year. and has kind of fallen off a cliff offensively. So, hey, bullpen arms are important. So I'm glad the Jays went and got 2 guys here. Now they're facing the Rays. Gosman on the mound for the Jays, Rasmussen for the Rays. Jays, Rays, interesting. Gosman, this was actually the game he got hurt in, was against Tampa Bay when he only went 3 innings, I believe. Did not allow a run. Is coming off a rough game against St. Louis. That's for sure. 4.2 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts in that one. So coming off a rough game. But the Tampa Bay Rays seem to be in trouble as of late. Not really playing the best baseball right now. Toronto 12-3 in their last 15. So basically, how I'm looking at this game is Gosman's strikeouts, which I will bring up the odds to here. Jays minus 134, minus 150. Tampa plus 120 to plus 110. 7.5. I'm looking at Gosman's strikeouts here. His strikeouts 7.5 is plus 115. So I would definitely look at the plus the 7.5. The 7 is minus 115. If you wanted to play it a bit safer, or if you play minus 135, you could take the 6.5. But I'm going to be looking at the 7 here. Tampa Bay has slowly surprisingly sneakily jumped up into the worst strikeouts. They are in the top 4. They are the 4th worst team when it comes to strikeouts. So striking out a lot. And I think a good spot for Gosman here. I think he can get 7. I think he can get 8 in a much better performance here. And I'll also be looking to add Toronto in a parlay as well. I think they start off this road trip well. I think if they go and acquire another player here, maybe someone like Rodon, that would really get the mojo in the Jays dugout up. So we'll have to see exactly what they do here, but I like the Jays and Gosman strikeouts. Dave, Jays and Rays, what do you think here?
So while you were doing that, I looked up the Tampa Bay Rays, but I dove a little bit further. I did against right-handed pitching since the All-Star break, and they're 7th worst, 91 strikeouts. So that's probably a really good bet. I'll look into that. Again, not a game that I have a bet in yet. This wasn't something that popped up at me last night. But I will say that okay, so here's the deal. Both these pitchers, Kevin Gausman pitches better on the road. It's better road splits. Drew Rasmussen has better home splits. So you got 2 pitchers, and so you think, okay, well, first 5 under. It's a 3.5. It's not. That to me is a little shaky. We're not talking about Shane McClanahan. We're not talking about Max Scherzer. We're not talking about 2 shutdown pitchers, just 2 good pitchers. So then I look at how these pitchers did against other teams. I don't do that for teams. So in other sports, I don't say, well, this team lost to this team last time. But for pitching, I do, because it's an individual effort versus a group of people that might have an idea on how to play them. And Drew Rasmussen's done really well at 2 outings versus the Jays this year. And Kevin Gausman's done not so well the only time he faced the Rays. So if you're looking for some sort of angle, which I am in this game, I'd be leaning Rays in the first 5. Another reason is Drew Rasmussen is one of the top 10 winning pitchers in the first 5 innings. If you bet the money line first 5 on the Rays when he's pitching, you'd have won 6 units this year. So the Jays have an elite bullpen this past month. That's the funny thing. I was just looking at that was a problem before, but they're doing well. And to Terry's point, if they get a Rodon, they immediately become someone that can contend in the playoffs, I think, with their bats waking up and with how their bullpen's doing. But in this game, I don't know how the full game goes. If I had to bet, I'm going to take some plus money with the Rays first 5.
All right. You mentioned McClanahan. I'm not going to comment about McClanahan. He really let me down his last start. So I won't be commenting on him.
So just a quick thing on him. When I watched the All-Star game, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I did this year. He was the losing pitcher, and he was the most I like watching him more than any pitcher in the major leagues. he got tore up. Since the All-Star break, he hasn't done that well. So maybe a switch flipped with him. I don't know, but he's too good to not get back on track.
Nick was saying that he's never pitched this much in his career, so he's pitching a lot more than he ever has, and he could be a little tired.
There is another capper that on another channel that I have a relationship with that has a really good stat, and that is to fade pitch. Once pitchers get to their most innings pitched in their career, you fade them. So that might be an angle to look at with him.
All right. Cubano, do not bet that. Springer is not in the lineup. So either you're saying that as a joke or you're not aware that he is not in the lineup. He has injury issues that could be long-term. Don't really know. He tried to play through it, but literally just kind of standing there and moving his arm a little bit, he was like wincing. So I don't know how the Jays coaching staff felt it okay for him to play, but he just looked horrible just watching him. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully he heals up soon. Moving on to this one, we have the Philadelphia Phillies in Atlanta facing the Braves. You can currently find Philadelphia plus 200 to plus 215. Atlanta's minus 240 to minus 260 or minus 275. 8.5s across the board. And if you're looking for Atlanta run line, approximately minus 126 to minus 112. And that's where I'm going to be going, is taking the Braves run line in this one. I probably will have Braves money line in a parlay as well. An interesting fact, Philly, for whatever reason, struggles on Tuesdays. 2-8 in their last 10, and 8-22 in their last 30 Tuesday games. I know not a stat to take, it's not a huge important stat that people would look at, but it's something interesting. For some reason, they struggle on Tuesdays, and I think the Braves here probably looking for some revenge after the last series where they didn't really play too well against the Phillies. I think Strider and the Braves can defeat Phillies bullpen day and get a win here against the Phillies. Dave, Phillies and Braves, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I don't like it. The pricing's ridiculous. Definitely a Brave spot. Spencer Strider's the man. Nick Nelson, I don't really know him. He's a reliever, and like you said, it's going to be a bullpen day, and their bullpen isn't that great. The only way to bet this is an extended run line, and the Braves bullpen is good. They were better, a little bit better. They've kind of regressed a little bit. I'd probably, gun to my head, take Atlanta first 5 on an extended run line, but I'm definitely not betting it.
All right. And we'll move on to the fourth game before we get to last pitch. A little bit of a shorter show here, but obviously with the trade deadline, lots of stuff going on. And this one, the final game, it's one of the final games of the night. The Dodgers and the Giants pitching matchup. We currently have Tyler Anderson against Alex Wood. Not really expecting any changes in that one. And I guess I should have said with the Atlanta, it's Strider against the bullpen day for Philly. But here in this one, Dodgers and Giants, you can find the Dodgers minus 140 to minus 158. San Francisco plus 120 to plus 132. 8s, 7.5s in this one here. And for me, it's back in the Dodgers. Back in the Dodgers here. I'm leaning towards, as again, I have not placed any bets yet. So I wanted to say that, wait until closer to the trade deadline. But Dodgers run line, something I'm going to be looking at here, especially once I see the lineup. I just think San Francisco is just in a tailspin. I think they're pretty much cooked. I know there's still lots of baseball left, but I just don't like what I've seen from this Giants team. And especially if they do go and trade Rodon, then that's just a clear sign that they are done. So we'll see what happens here, but I think the Dodgers are a good spot here. Pitching matchup, I would trust Tyler Anderson before I would trust Alex Wood. this year at least. Previous years may be a different story, but when it comes to this year, I'll trust the Dodgers and Anderson over Wood and the Giants. Dave, Dodgers, Giants. What do you think of this one?
Yep, this was, and it's really rare that I bet a game with the Dodgers unless it's a total or something. Usually the pricing's so bad, but I'm all over the Dodgers first five. Tyler Anderson is a better pitcher than Alex Wood. I've never liked Alex Wood, and the numbers really show it this year. But two other reasons for me. One is the Dodgers in the major leagues have scored the most in the first 5 innings on the road of any team. They average the most. 3.6 runs per game is what they average, which basically says they get out from the get-go. There are some times we've seen recently where they've had to battle back, but usually it's the Dodgers out ahead, and I think that happens in this game. But the biggest thing is the Dodgers have hit left-handed pitching like crazy since the All-Star break. 294 average, 989 OPS, 175 WRC plus, so they're creating runs, they're generating runs. So if you're giving me the Dodgers and all they have to score is be ahead by 1 run after 5 innings, and you're giving me plus money, which that's where it's at, I'm taking that all day. So that's my best bet of the day.
All right. Moving on along. BetStamp, use code WILD when signing up. Find the best odds for whatever you're looking for, especially when it comes to CFL. You can find a lot different odds depending on where you look. And then there was that other game I was looking at here. The under in the Arizona-Cleveland game is minus 106 at Sports Interaction. But everywhere else, it's like minus 115 to minus 120. So definitely shop and find the best odds. Going into last pitch, as I said, I've not placed any bets yet. I went over what I'm leaning in most games. One of the games we did not is Detroit and Minnesota. I wanted to take this yesterday and I didn't. And that was Detroit in the first 5, which would have cashed. And now I'm looking at it again here. Matt Manning, obviously coming off injury, hasn't played for a while, but looked good in his first 2 starts this year, and is going against Chris Archer, who was dependable for most of the year and very consistent, but in his last 2 starts has not pitched well. The Twins were able to get the walk-off win yesterday, but still aren't looking too good. And I think Detroit in the first 5 plus a half, which I think was like plus 114, is where I'd go in the Tigers Twins game if I get to it. Another game that we didn't discuss that I actually really like, and I'll actually bring up the odds for it, and that's the Brewers and Pirates game. If you look at the player props, and we go to Corbin Burns strikeouts, you can find 7.5 for minus 105. I am taking the 7.5, and I'm going to take the 8.5 strikeouts here for Burns. Pittsburgh, one of the worst strikeout teams in the league. We all know Corbin Burns, and he is definitely capable of getting to double digits, especially against the right team. So I like the 7.5 over 8.5 for his strikeouts. And then basically that is it for me. I will be looking at taking the Yankees, Toronto, Atlanta, St. Louis, and the Dodgers. Those are my 5 parlay pieces. We'll see what exactly I get to with those after the show. Obviously waiting to see lineups and the trade deadline to pass. Dave, anything else in baseball that you want to give out? The floor is yours.
Yep. So I have 2 other bets I like. One is the Orioles on the full game money line versus the Rangers. You know, these 2 teams, they've kind of been identical in a lot of ways, especially at the plate. If you look at their stats since the I'll answer that one. Dodgers first 5 run line. That's my best bet, but it's coming up. Anyways, Orioles, 2 reasons why. Spencer Howard, he's a fade fest. I'm not sold on him. He's pitched a little bit better. I don't care that he's at home. Jordan Lyles hasn't pitched great, but I think he's a better pitcher. And the Orioles bullpen is a lot better than the Rangers, and their bats seem like they're picking up. So I have the Orioles full money line a full game money line, plus 112 is what I got it at. And then the shocker, and I'm against the way the numbers are going, is I like the first 5 over in the Mets-Nats game. And I know DeGrom's coming back, but here's a couple things. And by the way, it was at 4.5 and I took it. Now it's at 4 and like plus money. But here's why I like this. I think runs can come a bunch of different ways. Number one, we saw what the Mets did yesterday to Corbin. Granted, it's Corbin, but the Mets bats can pop. They could get all these runs in the first 5 themselves. The Nats also got 3 against Scherzer, and I'd say that Scherzer and DeGrom are probably on the same level, elite pitchers. So the Nats got 3 runs off him yesterday. But here's the other thing. Of all the aces that have come back, we saw Scherzer come back. We saw Kershaw come back. A lot of injuries, a lot of pitchers coming back from injuries this year. None of them have done well. Kershaw got torn up by the Rockies. Scherzer's the only one that did really well. But I think if the Nats get a run or 2 off of DeGrom, we can get to 5 runs because of the Mets. So I'm going against where everyone's going with that line of logic, and I'll probably look dumb. But that's my cap for that one.
Yeah, I didn't get anywhere near that game. Obviously, Nick, he made the rule that any team that's minus 300, he's going to fade. And I think the Mets are like minus 380 now.
And he's not on the show.
333. So, yeah, he's not on the show. But, hey, I wish him luck with that because I'm not backing the Mets, but I'm not backing the Nationals either. That's totally a pass game for me. But I wish you luck, Dave, in your bet. And we will go to the comments. Has Vladdy let you down this season? He's supposed to be doing what Judge is doing right now. I don't think anybody's supposed to be doing what Judge is doing right now. He's just insane. Has Vladdy let me down? He's not hitting like he did last year. That's for sure. But hey, he is still playing well. And even if he's not hitting, others around him are hitting, whether they choose to pitch to Vladdy or not. That is different teams' decisions. Tiffany asked for best bets, and that's where we are going right now. I will bring up the best bets segment. Obviously, not a lot today, but Ryan sent his in, and Tim is just putting in his now as well. So we will start with over-under. For me, Arizona, Cleveland, first 5 under 4. Tim just put in Phoenix, Connecticut under 167 for the WNBA. And Ryan is going Pittsburgh, Milwaukee under 7.5. Dave, is there a total that you like today?
Yes, this is my worst category, but we're going to go with what I like, and that's Arizona, Cleveland, full game under 7.5.
I think you're getting close to 500 there too. So
yeah,
you're not doing too bad at all. Dog of the day. Currently none for me. The only dog that I'm thinking about backing in some fashion is Detroit in the first 5, but I'm not going to give them out as a full game money, full game dog. Tim is going with the Washington Mystics again in the WNBA. Ryan is going with the Baltimore Orioles. Dave, is there a dog that you like on today's slate?
Yep, I'm with the Orioles too. I think it's dropped a little bit, which means we're on the right side of it. It was at 112, now it's 105 is the best odds, but I like where Ryan's head's at.
All right. And then we'll go to Parlay Piece. Again, Tim is in the WNBA, going New York Liberty. Ryan said New York Mets minus 1.5. And for me, it will be the Atlanta Braves. I think the Phillies will lose on Tuesday yet again. And that's kind of my Parlay Piece. Dave, Parlay Piece, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Dodgers money line, full game. Not something I'd bet individually, but actually it's a pretty good price at minus 145. So almost bettable.
All right. And then going on to best bet. For me, it is going to be Burns over 7.5 strikeouts, which I think I said is minus 105. Tim is going with the Washington Mystics in the WNBA on the money line for plus 140. And Ryan is going with the Blue Jays, minus 130. Dave, what do you think here for best bet?
Yep. I like the Dodgers run line, first 5 innings at what is it, plus 105.
Perfect. All right. And that is the show. A short show, but we're doing what we can. Tomorrow we'll be back to normal, obviously, with all the trades done and over with. And we'll have some different lineups with different teams. So obviously that'll be exciting. The NFL preview show is in 8 days. So a week tomorrow. So make sure to tune in that. Best luck to everybody on your bets tonight. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support. Make sure to follow Dave's YouTube channel as well. And you can find the link to that on his Twitter, Picks from Dave. And that is the show. And we will see you again tomorrow, guys. Have a good one.